Okay, so there are some new updates and new information about the NewJeans situation as of November 13th, 2025. So, what looked like a simple, oh, NewJeans is coming back headline turned into a completely different story once the details came out from the Korean media. And it revealed some fractures inside the group, uncertainty inside the door, and a legal landscape far more complicated than one might have expected. Well, to be kind of honest, things are not drastically different compared to how things stood on November 12th, but still, there are some more details that we got to learn. So in this video, we're gonna break down exactly what happened, what's new, and why today's reporting could kind of shift the future of NewJeans. Okay, but to review what happened the day before. So first of all, there was a sudden split in announcements. Right, ADOR first announced that Hyein and Haerin had decided to return, and about 2.5 hours later, Minji, Hanni, and Danielle issued their own "we're returning" statements through a law firm, not through the company, which created an immediate contrast. And then some reporting revealed that Hyein and Haerin had been quietly coordinating with ADOR for about a week. The three older members, though, had not submitted any official position to ADOR until the moment they released their public statements. Now, because the three members hadn't communicated beforehand, ADOR stated it needed to verify the authenticity of their intent. So this suggested there had been no prior discussion or negotiating with them. Now, the older members said one member was in Antarctica, which delayed, internal communication, and many people saw this as like a flimsy excuse for why their announcement bypassed ADOR entirely. And yes, Hyein and Haein accepted the court's ruling, consulted with their families, and decided to honor the contract. And reporting emphasized they went through a proper and documented discussion with ADOR. But on the other hand, Minji, Danielle, and Hanni had shown no such communication before publicly announcing their return. And their statements appear kind of reactive, released only after Hyein and Haein's updates became public. And analysts and insiders noted the risk of creating awkward dynamics, right? ADOR may feel obligated to protect Hyein and Haein, who cooperated, while needing to verify the older trio's sincerity. And around the same time, I also talked about how Team Bunnies, a group long presenting itself as sophisticated and well connected, like a fandom collective, revealed that the person behind their that illegal fundraising was actually a minor, and they released their own statements and introduced themselves again and gave all kinds of excuses. And many people found the timing and explanation suspicious, given their past claims of being a collective of professionals. Now, Korean comments, of course, international comments as well, are sharply criticized the older trio for unilateral behavior and perceived entitlement. And concern also grew about how they would coexist with the two younger members if trust hadn't been rebuilt internally. So, here are some articles that I'm going to share with you today in this video. And let's warm up a bit by going through Dispatch article, which has gone through the entire history of the NewJeans battle against ADOR, titled "Do You Understand Now? 이해가 되셨을까요? NewJeans 567-day revolutionary diary." Wow. Sounds like something that Dispatch would write. And of course, 이해가 되셨을까요? Do you understand now? That's what Minji, NewJeans Minji, said to journalists and reporters during the guerrilla press conference, emergency press conference that they held last year, when they said, "Look, our contract with ADOR has been terminated because we say so. Do you guys understand now? And I'm pretty sure that that single line has angered a lot of reporters who had to attend that press conference late at night. And I saw some Korean articles sounding super critical of NewJeans. I might share them later. I don't know, but not in this video though. We have some things to cover. Now the article starts like this. NewJeans는 6명입니다. NewJeans has 6 members. Their self-declared revolution has come to an end. After 567 days, NewJeans threw in the towel. Hyein and Haerin announced their return to ADOR, and 3 hours later, Minji, Hanni, and Danielle reluctantly notified that they would join them. But the turbulence isn't over yet. The mastermind of the 6 Jeans movement, Minji, has already registered a business license. She's preparing a new label, coming up with the name OOAK, finalizing a logo, and visibly moving toward her next venture. Inside NewJeans, divisions have clearly formed. Hyein and Haerin announced their return together. Minji, Hanni, and Danielle issued a separate statement. The public has already begun calling them 2 Jeans and 3 Jeans, 2진수와 3진수. In the end, 567 days of conflict left nothing but wounds. Only a trail of infamous lines remains. There are too many 개저씨, like gross old men here. 제가 왜 무시를 당해야 하나요? Why should I be treated like this? 이해가 되셨을까요? Do you understand now? 학부 피해자에게 학교로 돌아가라고요? You're telling a school violence victim to go back to the school? So these are the things that were uttered by Minji and NewJeans. And Dispatch included those quotes playfully. Here's a look back at the major events over the 1 year and 7 months from NewJeans' contract termination notice to their return. First, there are so many freaking gross old men, 개저씨들이 많아. April 25th, 2024. Minji held an emergency press conference. For 2 hours, mixing profanities and tears, she publicly attacked HYBE, claiming she was subjected to an unfair audit after blowing the whistle on internal issues. That day, Minji said, "These disgusting old men want to destroy me. And you cannot work in this business without swearing. There are too many bastards," directly criticizing HYBE executives. Regarding the allegations of an attempted takeover, she dismissed them as private conversations, insisting that it was HYBE who had betrayed her. "They drained me dry, then tried to crush me," she said. HYBE countered. "There is a transcript spanning months that shows a consistent intent to seize management control. This is not mere chit-chat. There is evidence of planning and execution." Next. 민 대표님을 돌려주세요. Please give us CEO Minji back. September 11th, 2024. Yep, I remember that. NewJeans turned on a YouTube Live and demanded Minji's reinstatement. Hyein said, "After she was removed, it was painful to watch the people we worked with suffer from unreasonable demands and pressure." Danielle added, "We were just working hard for our dreams. What did we do wrong? This company feels inhumane. Please stop tormenting our CEO Minji." Yep, that's what Danielle said. Minji said, the unnecessary and exhausting issues about NewJeans keep piling up. What we want is the original ADOR, where CEO Minji oversees both management and producing. However, the live stream appeared pre-planned. Dispatch later reported that Minji had shared the live stream schedule with members' families, using the artist as her speakers. Next section. Why am I the one who has to suffer? October 15th, 2024. Hanni brought up the ignore her controversy during a YouTube live. She said, she claimed, on HYBE's fourth floor. We passed other members and a manager, or I passed other members and a manager. The manager, other members of another artist. And the manager said loudly enough for me to hear, "Ignore her," she claimed. She even appeared at a National Assembly hearing, the first K-pop singer to testify as a witness before the Environment and Labor Committee, presenting herself as a victim of workplace mistreatment. Oh, Dispatch. I wonder why Dispatch didn't include these beautiful photos. Yep. Back to the article. Hanni said tearfully, "We greeted them first, and when they came back out, the manager told them, 'Pretend you didn't see her. Ignore her. I don't understand why I have to go through this.'" I'm not sure. I think it could be, it's probably singular. So maybe I should have said, "I greeted them first. And when they came back out, the manager told them, 'Pretend you didn't see her. Ignore her. I don't understand why I have to go through this.'" And she said that during the National Assembly hearing. Goodness. The article says, but it turned out "ignore her" did not originate from Hanni. The court ruled. The phrase "ignore her" was first used by Minji. Given her influence on the members' recollections, the memory and wording were likely distorted through conversations with Minji. Next section. One person's malice, truly bad. November 20th, 2024. ADOR's board removed Minji from the CEO position on August 27, 2024, but she kept her internal director role and remained in charge of NewJeans production. It didn't last. Minji wanted the CEO title. On November 20th, she resigned entirely and announced she would pursue legal action against HYBE for violating shareholder agreements. HYBE refuses to admit wrongdoing. They framed me as attempting a takeover and witch-hunted me, she said. Minji ended her statement by mocking Bang Si-hyuk's earlier quote, "A person's malicious actions should never undermine the essence of this industry. It was truly bad." Next section. 이해가 되셨을까요? God. Do you understand now? From November 28th, 2024. After Minji's departure, NewJeans held an emergency press conference. They announced they would terminate their contract with ADOR at midnight on the 29th, November 29th. An unprecedented move. Unprecedented. Why do I keep having issues with this word? Sorry. Unprecedented. They said that. They demanded contract termination without legal procedure, despite having an active binding contract. Hanni said, "We are leaving ADOR because it has neither the will nor the ability to protect NewJeans. This is a waste of time and a source of emotional pain." The members repeatedly emphasized wanting to continue working with Minji. When reporters pressed them about bypassing the legal process, Minji replied, "We are terminating because HYBE and ADOR violated the contract. Do you understand now?" Yeah, she said it like this. They also declared they would not pay any penalties. And Haerin argued, "We never breached the contracts. We continue working diligently. There is absolutely no reason for us to pay penalties. ADOR and HYBE must take responsibility." And yeah, that's what this thumbnail is about. We're not going to pay a single cent. Now, the next section. Expect a shocking new journey, February 7th, 2025. Ignoring ADOR's attempts to stop them, NewJeans announced independent activities under a new name, NJZ. The members even held a public naming contest on social media. They wrote, Please look forward to the shocking journey we will take together as NJZ in 2025. Parents' accounts, NewJeans members' parents' accounts, were also renamed to NJZ underbar PR. They even teased a comeback. Minji said, "We are preparing to take the stage as NJZ and share new music we have long wanted to show." Next section. NewJeans cannot operate independently. March 21st, 2025. The court ruled NewJeans had no right to carry out independent activities under NJZ. The Civil Court of the Seoul Central District Court granted ADOR's request for an injunction to preserve its status as NewJeans' agency and to block advertisement deals. The judge said, NewJeans' claims and evidence do not prove ADOR breached its obligations, nor is there proof that the trust relationship has irreparably broken down. NewJeans appealed, but the court dismissed it, reaffirming ADOR's position. And then, 우리를 혁명가로 만든다. Korea is turning us into revolutionaries. March 22nd, 2025. NewJeans expressed disappointment through Time magazine. We are disappointed by the court's decision, but we never expected the K-pop industry to change overnight. They added, compared to everything we've been through, this is just another step. Maybe this is simply Korea's reality. They continued, Korea makes us feel like they're turning us into revolutionaries. Agencies see artists as products, not real people. They don't realize how serious this problem is. There's so many things that I want to say in between these sentences that I'm reading from this article, but since we have a long way to go, I will refrain from that. Okay. Despite the ruling, they insisted on continuing NJZ activities. Haerin said, as NJZ, we will show greater creative freedom and new goals. Next section. Our belief will not change. March 23rd, 2025. Despite the injunction, NewJeans appeared at an event in Hong Kong, released a new song titled Pit Stop, and unveiled 12 new NJZ branded merchandise items. On stage, Hanni read a letter. This might be our last performance. To respect the court's decision, we will stop all activities. Danielle said, we had to speak up to protect the values we believe in. We have no regrets. Our belief will never change. Hyein added, some people might say we should have just enjoyed it and stayed. We will never regret our choice. These are the merchandise items. And Dispatch journalist went all the way to Hong Kong to purchase them. Next section. Independent activities, 1 billion Korean won per violation. May 29, 2005. NewJeans continued independent activities despite the injunction, prompting ADOR to request an indirect compulsory order. The court approved it. The judge wrote, just 2 days after the injunction, they participated in an overseas concert under a new group name and released new music. This clearly shows intent to continue independent activities. The court banned all commercial and creative activities without ADOR's prior approval and imposed a fine of 1 billion Korean won per violation. Next session. You're telling us, it's like you're telling school bullying victims to go back to school? July 25th, 2005. At the third hearing on the contract validity lawsuit, NewJeans attorneys used dramatic analogies. Yeah, there were so many dramatic analogies during that hearing, right? They compared HYBE and ADOR to school bullies and NewJeans to victims forced to go back to the same school. They compared Minji's removal to an abusive father returning home and kicking out the mother. And weren't there also didn't they compare Minji to a great general? And compare Bang Seok to a king, jealous of his general or something. Yeah, it was weird. Sejong lawyers are weird. Sorry, that's how I feel at this point. Next section. The results of Minji's groundwork, October 30th, 2025. ADOR won the contract validity lawsuit completely. The court rejected more than 10 of NewJeans' arguments. Minji's name appeared 104 times in the ruling. The judge concluded Minji had planned to separate ADOR with NewJeans from HYBE. She prepared public opinion campaigns, complaints, and lawsuits in advance, and the members' claims were the result of Minji's pre-scripted strategy. Yep, and I have translated the full court document into English, and I read it in one of the videos, right? Now, next section. We respect the court's ruling, November 12, 2025. Legally reaffirmed as ADOR artist, Hyein and Haerin returned. Soon after, Minji, Hanni, and Danielle said they would also return, but again, through a unilateral announcement. We reached this decision after careful discussion. One member is in Antarctica, so communication was delayed. ADOR didn't respond, so we're announcing this ourselves. ADOR replied, after confirming the sincerity of their intent to return, we will begin planning official activities. This is what Dispatch included in this article. Now, last session. We hope NewJeans will be happy. November 13th, 2005. And here's an ending to this article. Success becomes a revolution. Failure becomes pain. NewJeans' spring ended, leaving only scars. The conflict between HYBE and ADOR and the question of coexistence with other groups remains unresolved. On November 13th, Minji said, I treasure the courage they showed in holding hands again to protect each other. I can start anew, anywhere, but NewJeans must be preserved wholly as five. The article says, neither NewJeans, nor Minji, nor ADOR used the word, neither NewJeans nor Minji used the word sorry, or they gave an apology in any of their statements regarding their returns to ADOR. A return made with we had no choice may become an even more painful chapter than the 567-day revolution itself. Before showing music filled with sincerity, they may need to offer an apology filled with sincerity first. And there you go. That was the article written by Dispatch. And that was a very great summary. Of course, there are more details that we can fill in. But yeah, as a summary, that was great. Now, indeed, as the article mentioned at the very end, Minji on November 13th released a statement about what happened. So here it is. Here's Minji's full statement. Hello, this is Minji. I'm sharing my position as many inquiries have come in. The members' decision to return together yesterday is surely one they made after deep thought and discussion. I respect and support their choice. Although there were difficulties, I value the courage the members showed in holding hands again to protect one another. I can start anew anywhere. But regardless of the circumstances, I believe NewJeans must be preserved fully as 5 members. I hope the members grow stronger, become an even better NewJeans, and above all, that all 5 of them will be happy. I am deeply grateful to the fans who protected NewJeans even during the difficult times. Please warmly welcome the members as they overcome hardships and return. I, too, will continue supporting NewJeans until the end, watching over their music and growth. During this period, various lawsuits have been underway at the same time, and it has been a prolonged time of difficulty for all of us. The lawsuit between HYBE and me is completely separate and unrelated to NewJeans. I am doing my best as an individual, and I hope the truth will be revealed. I ask for your continued support. Thank you. Yeah, what do you think? So, Minji's statement, okay, it reads warm on the surface, but the underlying message is, I don't know, from her perspective, super calculated and selective and strategically phrased. So, First of all, she positions herself as this gracious figure, but avoids any reflection or responsibility, right? There's no acknowledgement of the chaos and the whole mess that she helped create. And no mention of the court ruling that explicitly named her as the architect of the contract termination plan, the public opinion campaign, and the ignore her narrative, and the premeditated separation of ADOR from HYBE. Instead, yeah, of course, she presents herself as the one who values the members' courage and the one capable of starting anew anywhere. And the tone implies benevolence, but sidesteps accountability. Just totally. And she subtly reinforces loyalty toward herself, right? Like the line, what did she say? I believe NewJeans must be preserved as 5 members. It's not neutral. It's coming from someone who guided the members' narratives and instructed the members' families on public messaging, and she shaped their grievances and was ruled by the court to have distorted memories and conversations. So it reads as a reminder of her influence. And this is messaging for her supporters, not for reconciliation. And Minji distances herself from responsibility for the group's collapse. Minji frames her lawsuit with HYBE as completely separate and unrelated to NewJeans. But that is actually factually incorrect, because the court ruling stated the opposite, right? Her actions and pre-planning directly influenced the members' stance, behavior, and the public controversy. So her statement tries to rewrite that history, as to be expected from Minji. And she is shifting the emotional burden onto fans and members. She says something like, please warmly welcome the members? So that places the moral responsibility on fans, right? Including those who were, I don't know. I don't know who she's addressing. But if she's addressing the public, that includes those who were harassed and attacked and traumatized during the whole conflict, right? And meanwhile, she offers no apology for the environment that resulted in that harm. And the timing. Releasing the statements after the members announced their return, but before ADOR confirms their reinstatements, allows her to maintain the image of a benevolent guide or something and avoid appearing defeated, and keep her base loyal, and it allows her to protect her new label plans already underway, right? And frame herself as a supportive mother figure even as she gives up on NewJeans. So yeah, this statement, it reads like a loyalty retention message, so to say, and subtle distancing from legal responsibility even, and a final attempt to frame herself as a moral center of the story. And meanwhile, it avoids the most important issue, right? The significant role that she played, as confirmed by legal findings, in creating what Dispatch calls the 567-day crisis that hurt the group, other artists, HYBE, employees, staff, and multiple fandoms. So that was her statement. Now, here are some articles that came out today that offer some insights to what happened that led to their decisions, NewJeans members' decisions. So this one was published by 10 Asia, titled, ADOR may refuse to take Minji, Danielle, and Hanni back. What? ADOR may refuse to take Minji, Danielle, and Hanni back. What happens after confirming their true intentions? Published on November 13th. Let me read you. All 5 NewJeans members announced plans to return to ADOR, but within the industry, there's growing speculation that ADOR might refuse to accept the 3 members, Minji, Danielle, and Hanni, who notified their return without consulting ADOR beforehand. Legal experts say Check this out. Legal experts say ADOR has sufficient grounds to notify these three members of a contract termination. On November 12th, the three members expressed their intention to return through the law firm Hanni, not Sejong, but law firm Hanni. This came about 3 hours after Hyein and Haerin announced their official return through ADOR. What draws attention is ADOR's response that followed. ADOR stated it was checking the sincerity behind the three members' intentions, showing a lukewarm stance towards reuniting with them. ADOR has repeatedly urged NewJeans members to come back. Their sudden shift in attitude after the members declared their return reflects a different concern. ADOR needs to confirm whether the three members actually intend to uphold the terms of their exclusive contracts. That's this article's interpretation. Unlike Hyein and Haerin, the three members did not discuss their return in detail with the agency. The article says, within the industry, some hold a pessimistic outlook regarding the chances that ADOR will accept all three members and resume full group activities. One music industry insider explained, the phrase, checking their true intentions, implies that ADOR is questioning the sincerity of these three. It suggests ADOR is not confident they will be able to continue activities smoothly as NewJeans. Another insider commented, the way Minji and Hanni behaved during the emergency press conference and the parliamentary audit likely had a very negative impact on ADOR's trust in them. It's unclear whether ADOR will accept a one-sided return declaration that lacked adequate consultation. Why? What did Minji and Hanni behave? How did they behave during the press conference and national audit? Yeah. And yep, that's how they behaved. The article says, legal experts say that there are strong legal grounds for ADOR to terminate the exclusive contracts of these three members. Contract termination is something the NewJeans members themselves have insisted on throughout the dispute. From that perspective alone, termination could be beneficial to the three members as well, the article says. However, so according to the article, that's what the legal experts said. However, if the contract is terminated in this manner, the responsibility lies with the members. That means the members may be held liable for damages. Considering NewJeans' peak popularity before the dispute, the compensation amount owed to ADOR could be at a level that would be extremely difficult for any individual member to pay. Attorney No Jong-un, representative lawyer at a major law firm, explained, the meaning of the first trial ruling in the exclusive contract validity lawsuits is not the contract must continue. It means that if the contract is broken, responsibility lies with NewJeans, not ADOR. On that basis, ADOR could notify the three members of contract termination and demand they take responsibility for the consequences. Now, one thing I want to say about this particular lawyer, No Jong-un, is that it's significant. So, this person said that the press conference, the emergency press conference that they held was incredible and was very strategic. And they actually said, the lawyer actually said that NewJeans might have a chance at winning against ADOR. So it's pretty significant that even that guy said that now the responsibility lies with NewJeans, not ADOR. And on that basis, ADOR could notify the three members of contract termination and demand they take responsibility for the consequences. Yeah, even pro-NewJeans lawyer said that. Now, the article adds one more comment by another lawyer. Attorney Chang Sung-soo of the All Law firm added, the actions taken by the NewJeans members so far could very well be the cause of the breakdown in trust. The possibility that ADOR will refuse to take all three members back is not small. We'll have to see. These are just opinions by legal experts, as organized by this article, right? And it's their interpretation. But it was pretty interesting. Now, another article that adds another insight titled, 4 NewJeans members met with ADOR 2 days ago. Additional meetings underway. Released by a journalist named Lee Tae-soo. So let's check this one out. Yonhap News. The long-running exclusive contract disputes between NewJeans and ADOR appears to be entering a new phase, as the members are now on track to be legally confirmed as belonging to ADOR again. According to the music industry, on November 13th, 4 members who were in Korea met with ADOR CEO Lee Do-kyung on November 11th. And for those of you who do not know who she is, yeah, she looks like this. Lee Do-kyung. She became the CEO of ADOR after Kim Joo-young stepped down. Yeah, she worked really hard. Kim Joo-young. Where are we? So, what did it say? The 4 members who were in Korea met with ADOR CEO Lee Do-kyung on November 11th, along with their guardians. One member was overseas and could not attend. Now, there's some speculation that she must be Danielle, but then someone pointed out, I saw an article that says that it could be Hanni, who's in Antarctica. And it says that someone met her and took photos of her or something. I don't know. Not that I care. The article says, during this meeting, they reportedly delivered what they consider to be the necessary conditions and environment required for their return to the agency. Let me read that again. During that meeting, which happened on November 11th with ADOR CEO Lee Do-kyung, the members reportedly delivered what they considered to be the necessary conditions and environment required for their return to the agency. A day later, on the afternoon of the 12th, ADOR announced that Hyein and Haerin will be returning. Soon after, Minji, Hanni, and Danielle also announced their intention to return, making it public themselves. In the ongoing lawsuit filed by ADOR to confirm the validity of the exclusive contract, if the members do not submit an appeal by midnight on the 14th, the first trial ruling will become final, that the exclusive contract is valid. And by the way, right now, we are 3 hours past the midnight on the 14th. So, yeah, that has become official. The exclusive contract is valid because they did not submit an appeal. So, the article says, because ADOR has already formalized Hyein and Haerin's return, and the other 3 members have also declared their intention to come back, it is considered highly likely that the 5 members will not file an appeal. And again, yeah, they did not file an appeal. This means that by the 14th, ADOR will once again be the members' legally confirmed agency. And with that, the agency will face the task of resolving the conflict and repairing the damaged relationship. The members, too, must adjust to an ADOR without former CEO Minji. ADOR stated that Hyein and Haerin made their decision after sufficient discussion with ADOR and chose to respect the court's ruling and comply with the contract. It was reported that Haein's father played a role in this process. But now that I think about it, I didn't really think about this yesterday, but it was Haein's uncle who helped Minji find an investor, right? Remember the owner or the director of a Kosdaq listed company? What was the name of the company? Like Town or something? Yeah, and the uncle was there. But then the whole deal or the whole, thing fell apart, and Minji all of a sudden said that I had no meetings whatsoever with potential investors, and that caused the stock price of that company plummet, and that owner felt furious, and then he had an interview with the Korean media and said that, look, I met with that woman and so on. But what I'm trying to say is that Kane's family is not that innocent either. I wonder what his father was doing while such investor-related meetings were happening, thanks to the help and support of Kane's uncle. You know what I'm saying? Did he feel iffy about the whole thing from the very beginning? Or was he part of the whole process? I don't know. Oh, we might never know. But I'm just saying this because the Korean media is now trying to make it look like he was the hidden hero. But I don't know. I don't know about that guy. Anyways, the article says that it was Haein's father who played a major role in this process. But I do feel bad for him because he had to fight against his own wife in court for the status of guardianship for his daughter over this matter, right? In terms of the legal battle against ADOR. So that's tragic if you think about it. Because of that, one woman, Minji. Anyways, let's move on. The two members had contacted ADOR ahead of time and had in-depth talks. While the specific content of those discussions is not public, their official statements that we have chosen to respect the ruling suggest they accepted the court's detailed rejection of the members' claims and its conclusion that the contract remains valid. Minji, Hanni, and Danielle issued their own statements about 2 hours and 40 minutes after ADOR announced the return of the first two members. In their statements, they said, I'm going to skip that. Now, the article says, a source close to the three explained. After the meeting on the 11th, a source close to the three members explained. After the meeting on the 11th, we were waiting for ADOR's response regarding the matters we conveyed. But when the other two members' return was suddenly announced, the three became concerned about fan confusion. They urgently notified ADOR that they also wanted their return announced, but since they received no reply, they felt forced to make it public through the press. Okay. According to this article, that's what this source close to the three members said. ADOR, which told Haerin and Haein that it would do our best to ensure smooth activities, took a noticeably cooler stance toward the other three, saying only that it was checking the sincerity behind their intention. ADOR is expected to meet the members or their representatives again soon, the article says. Sources say the three members also agree that another meeting is necessary. Whether it will be attended by all five members or only the three is still under discussion. Given that the appeal deadline is midnight on the 14th, the meeting will likely take place afterward, as early as this weekend or early next week. If the meeting is confirmed, discussions are expected to include points similar to those addressed within the first two, to those addressed with the first two members, such as respecting the court ruling. Now, the article ends this way. Pop music critic Im Hee-jun said, "This lawsuit made the members realize the weight of an exclusive contract. But that weight applies not only to the members, but also to the agency. Now the ball is back in ADOR's court." So, yeah, that was the article. Do I have one more article to share? Something about insiders insights. Okay, one more article. Now, I heard some rumors that some of the conditions that demanded by NewJeans members while they were having a meeting with ADOR CEO Lee Do-kyung was the reinstatement of Minji. And someone included like a screenshot of a article looking like phrases, sentences, paragraphs, but I think that's fake news. I tried to search for it, but I couldn't find it. That might be the case, but just so you know, it was not an official news. But I did want to point out that one of the articles that came out on November 13th claimed that the three members, Minji, Hanni, and Danielle, right after learning about the announcements that Hyein and Haerin will be back, they called ADOR by phone for 30 minutes. They tried to reach them, but since the employees and executives at ADOR were working at the time and they were not able to respond, that's why they published their own statements immediately. The statements composed of 5 sentences. So that was a detail that was originally included in this article, but then that detail got deleted and edited out for some reason. So that was super interesting. Article released by Joseonilbo, which is one of the major Korean news medias in Korea. So I don't know. I don't know why they deleted that detail, took it out. That might be the case. Maybe it's a detail that some rather not included in the article. Who knows? All right, one more article titled NewJeans' Staggered Return Reflects Differences Among the Members. Can a full group comeback happen? Released by Yoon Soo-jung. Even though all 5 members of NewJeans have now expressed their intention to return to ADOR, I'm going to skip some parts. The pop music industry believes a full group comeback will be difficult to achieve quickly. Their time-staggered return is being interpreted as a sign of internal difficulty coordinating their decisions. While Hyein and Haerin conveyed their intention to return after discussions with the agency, Minji, Danielle, and Hanni issued their own statement that had not been coordinated with ADOR. According to multiple industry sources on the 13th, the background of this staggered sequence stems from real differences in the members' willingness to return. On November 11th, 4 NewJeans members, along with their families, met with ADOR CEO Lee Do-kyung. Among Minji, Danielle, and Hanni, 2 attended the meeting because they were in Korea. The remaining member did not join, saying she was currently in Antarctica. But afterward, only Hyein and Haerin separately conveyed their intention to return to ADOR, while the 2 attending members reportedly left after only delivering preconditions for resuming activities. Okay, that's what this article says. 전제 조건. The 2 attending members reportedly left after only delivering preconditions for resuming activities. Now, we do not know what those preconditions are about. Okay? It might have included the reinstatement of Minji, it might not. But on the 12th, Minji, Danielle, and Hanni issued their own statements separate from ADOR. Their announcement is understood to have been made hurriedly after hearing the news of Hyein and Haerin's return. In their statement, the 3 said, blah, 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 I'm not going to read. According to industry sources, the 3 attempted to contact ADOR immediately after learning of the first 2 members' decision, but after receiving no reply, they released a statement they had already prepared. And according to this article that I just showed you, with the deleted detail, they called for 30 minutes. And then I guess they were really impatient and decided to release the statements anyways. On the 13th, ADOR stated, we are coordinating additional individual meetings with the members, and we will do our best to ensure smooth discussions. Okay, so this is something new that we didn't get to know about yesterday, right? On November 13th, ADOR stated, we are coordinating additional individual meetings with the members and will do our best to ensure smooth discussions. And this is not something that ADOR made public by posting an announcement on their social media, like on Twitter or X. But this might be something that ADOR said to the journalist who contacted them for answers. Now, a return triggered by their legal defeat, the article says. Industry insiders note that the members' change of attitude was heavily influenced by their defeat in the first trial of the exclusive contract validity lawsuit against ADOR on October 30th. The court ruled that the exclusive contract between ADOR and NewJeans remains valid until July 31st, 2029, siding fully with ADOR. During the 40-minute reading of the verdict, the court meticulously rejected nearly all of NewJeans' arguments about ADOR's alleged misconduct, something highly unusual in a civil case. Notably, the court explicitly stated that former ADOR CEO Minji is not an essential component of the exclusive contract. The verdict also included a pointed comment referencing the KakaoTalk messages submitted as evidence, stating that it appears Minji intended to take NewJeans with her and separate from ADOR and HYBE. This reinforced the tampering allegations long raised against her. This is why, even if all 5 members successfully return to ADOR, the return of Minji as their producer is considered impossible. For the 3 members who did not first return, the psychological pressure was particularly intense because ADOR fully controls the group name NewJeans, all past songs, and each member's exclusive contract. Even if only Hyein and Haerin returned to ADOR, they could legally continue performing as NewJeans and promote the existing songs. There are precedents in Kpop, like TVXQ, 동방신기, continued as a duo after a contract dispute. For those of you who don't know, this is TVXQ, and the article also says, wait, that's not TVXQ, that's a super. 동방신기. No. It used to be a 5-member group, but now they're a duo, and the other 3 is formed as JYJ. And the article says, TVXQ continued as a duo after contract dispute left 3 members out, and 50-50 retained only Kina and relaunched with a new lineup. Indeed, 50-50. Yeah, it used to be a 4-member group, and now it's a 5-member group, with Kina as the only original member. Back to the article. Earlier in March, the court also granted ADOR's request for an injunction prohibiting independent activities. The ruling stated that any member who violates this, like performs or appears without ADOR's approval, must pay 1 billion Korean won per violation. As long as the exclusive contract remains valid, independent activities are legally impossible. NewJeans' talking points and the remaining obstacles to full return. Industry insiders expect the appeal deadline, midnight on the 13th. So that's already over, to pass without the members filing an appeal. And indeed, that was the case. If so, the lawsuit ends and the members have a legal obligation to return to ADOR and resume activities. However, the article says, even if they succeed in coordinating a full group return, they face immense public criticism. After it was revealed that Minji, Hanni, and Danielle announced their return without coordinating with ADOR, online communities and K-pop fandoms reacted harshly, using terms such as fake surrender, they still haven't learned, and 2 jeans versus 3 jeans. Some fans compiled lists of the statements members have made criticizing ADOR over the past year, while others joked that ADOR employees now need to wear body cameras when dealing with NewJeans. The backlash stems from the fact that for the past year, the members themselves, rather than Minji alone, were at the center of various conflicts caused by unilateral actions taken without agency approval. After Minji was removed as CEO in August of last year, the members conducted surprise Instagram lives, or YouTube lives, radio appearances, and media interviews demanding Minji's return, all without ADOR's agreement. In October, Hanni even appeared at the National Assembly audit to openly criticize ADOR and HYBE chairman Bang Xiao. In November, they held an unsanctioned press conference declaring that their exclusive contract was terminated due to ADOR's breach, fueling controversy that they were ignoring legal agreements. Whether the members and their families can now maintain a proper distance from Minji is seen as a critical issue for a successful return. One source familiar with both sides said, in the process of returning, Hyein and Haerin and their families told ADOR they would continue activities without Minji. Huh. See, here's why I'm sharing all these articles. They're containing different segments of statements by these industry insiders or sources. So this guy said, one source familiar with both sides said, in the process of returning, Hyein and Haerin and their families told ADOR they would continue activities without Minji, but the remaining 3 members have had no such discussion or agreement. Interesting. Meanwhile, on the 13th, Minji issued a statement saying she respects and supports the members' decisions. She added, I can start anew anywhere, but NewJeans must be protected as 5 members under any circumstances. She continued, I hope the members become stronger and happier. My lawsuit with HYBE is completely separate from NewJeans. Minji, who recently founded a new agency called OAK, is currently in another lawsuit with HYBE regarding confirmation of contract termination and payment related to the exercise of a put option. So there we go. Yeah, so it seems like there are some, fractures and divisions happening, and as some people point out, it's kind of like 2 genes versus 3 genes situations. We'll have to see. But yeah, this article was also packed with some industry insiders' opinions or sources close to these members. Now, so there are some journalists who harshly criticized Minji's statement that came out on the same day. I'm not going to go through the whole articles. I'm just going to summarize for you. So for this one, for example, titled, I support NewJeans' return. The 5 must be protected. But is this something Minji, the person who caused the crisis, should be saying? So this article, main argument is that it criticizes Minji's statements supporting NewJeans' return to ADOR, arguing that she's the person who caused the entire crisis. So her public message is hypocritical and inappropriate. Okay? And the article says, first of all, Minji is the root cause of the entire dispute. She ignited the conflict with HYBE, was removed as CEO, and NewJeans followed her lead in attacking ADOR. And she did not take responsibility or express remorse. Her statement sounds warm and supportive, but ignores her central role in creating the mess. And 3, the court strongly criticized Minji, right? Over 100 mentions in verdict. Saying she planned a public opinion war. She encouraged parents to push anti-HYBE narratives. And she scouted investors to acquire ADOR. And she used issues like album pushing or something only to attack HYBE. And court concluded that NewJeans' claims were largely her doing. And 4th, the article says, NewJeans returned to ADOR in a humiliating position because they followed Minji's guidance and lost both legally and reputationally. And thus, the article claims or argues, Minji's support message rings hollow because the fallout, like the halted activities, reputation damage, and the shameful return, is largely her responsibility. So that was an article by Sports Today, written by a journalist named Yoon Hae-young. Now, one more article released by TV Daily by a journalist named Kim Ji-hyun. So this article is titled, No Apology. Separate from NewJeans, why is Minji shifting her stance? And this article argues that Minji is strategically distancing herself from NewJeans now that the court ruled her actions were the core cause of the dispute. Yet, she refuses to apologize. And this piece frames her as trying to protect herself in her own remaining lawsuit, the 26 billion Korean won put option case. And the article argues, first of all, Minji did not apologize or acknowledge her responsibility. despite the emotional and career damage that NewJeans suffered. And second, she is now trying to distance herself, saying her lawsuit has nothing to do with NewJeans, which the article argues is misleading. Because the court explicitly said Minji was the architect of the conflict, citing plans to split from HYBE, orchestrated media pressure, using parents to create public narratives, preparing investors for a takeover, leading the complaints and claims NewJeans later used. And also, the article says, when Minji said this lawsuit is separate, when she claimed that is false, for two big reasons. Why? Was it 260 billion won or 26 billion won? Anyway, that huge amount of put options valuation is based on ADOR's profit from NewJeans. And the group is central to the lawsuit. And the court's findings of her coordinated independence plan are directly relevant evidence in her current case with HYBE. So the article argues that Minji's distancing from NewJeans is a legal tactic, not an ethical gesture or something. So the article even says that, it was a 26 billion Korean won put option lawsuit. And the article argues that she should apologize. Minji should apologize. Why? Because NewJeans were split internally during the return, and the members suffered reputational damage, and the discord within the group is a consequence of following Minji's direction. What do you think? Makes sense. And I think that's a valid criticism of Minji, especially the statement that she put out today. So both articles argue that Minji was the architect of the entire NewJeans ADOR HYBE conflict. And the court's verdict backed that interpretation in great detail. And they commonly argue that NewJeans suffered, like the halted careers, reputational damage, internal fracture. Why? Because they followed her. And now she releases a warm public message supporting their return, but still refuses to apologize, as pointed by these two articles. And she shifts, instead, the narrative to say her lawsuit is separate because acknowledging connection would hurt her in her 26 billion Korean won put option lawsuit. And the articles point out that public reaction is overwhelmingly critical, accusing her of hypocrisy, avoidance, and self-preservation. So there we go. Overall, news reporting that came out on November 13th made it clear that the staggered return wasn't a timing accident at all, but the result of genuine disagreements among the members. 4 members met ADOR CEO Lee Do-kyung on November 11th, yet only Hyein and Haerin expressed a clear willingness to come back. The other 2 who attended did not agree and instead delivered their own conditions for returning. So this explains why the announcements came out separately the next day. Next day or the same day. Not because of time zones or communication delays, but because the group wasn't aligned internally. So because of this, I think the explanation that one member was in Antarctica is no longer being taken seriously, I guess. Articles now point out that the 2 members who were physically present at the meeting still refused to join the first announcement, if you think about it, which makes the Antarctica detail look more like a justification than an actual reason. I don't know. But yeah, multiple outlets are reporting that ADOR might not accept all 5 members back. The company publicly stated that it is verifying the true intentions of Minji, Hanni, and Danielle, right? And legal experts now say that ADOR has both the legal right to reject them and the ability to demand damages if the contract collapses. And that's a major shift, right? The possibility of a reduced member NewJeans is now being discussed openly. And lawyers also explained a new interpretation of the recent court ruling, right? The judgment doesn't force ADOR to maintain the contract at all cost. Instead, they point out, it establishes that if the contract breaks, the responsibility lies with the members, not the company. And that adds enormous risk for the three members who announced unilaterally. It also became clear that the November 11 meeting between CEO Lee Do-kyung and the four members and their guardians wasn't a simple check-in, right? Members presented conditions for returning, according to the media, which suggests like deeper negotiation over, I don't know, work environment or staffing responsibilities or future planning. And ADOR is preparing a second round of meetings, according to the media, but only after the appeal deadline formally ends at midnight on November 14th, which already happened. And that shows that real negotiation will begin once their legal status is locked in. And it is now locked in. And yeah, the tone of media coverage and online sentiments also changed dramatically a couple days, right? Major outlets are now directly citing fans and industry insiders who view the three members' unilaterally announcement as insincere or unreliable. So the idea of a 2-3 split inside the group is no longer speculation, I think. Because reporting now clearly places Hyein and Haerin on one side and Minji, Hanni, and Danielle on the other. But I don't know. Maybe these guys are still united. Who knows? But it might not be the case. And also, NewJeans' new statement supporting the group's return is being received very differently. Commentators argue that her message is strategic, not sympathetic, because her remaining 26 billion Korean won lawsuit becomes harder to win the more she appears connected to NewJeans. So her line that the lawsuit is separate from them is seen as an attempt to safeguard her own case after the court heavily criticized her conduct. Yeah, and one last thing is that these media outlets are openly discussing that ADOR can legally continue NewJeans with only Hyein and Haerin because the company owns the trademark, the music catalog, and the individual contracts. A two-member continuation is completely viable, like with TVXQ and 50/50 cited as precedents, right? So yeah, we'll see. There's a possibility that ADOR may choose not to take back the three members who issued a unilateral announcement. If that happens, the consequences would be severe, right? The three members could face major financial liability, and NewJeans could return as a smaller unit, and the fracture within the group would become permanent. And it would also mark a final end to NewJeans' influence on the group. And shift the entire narrative from ADOR versus NewJeans to members facing the consequences of their actions of following NewJeans. So that's where things stand as of November 13th. But I want to now hear from you. Do you think ADOR should accept all 5 members back? And if the split inside the group is real, is a 2-member NewJeans something you could see happening? And everything that we learned today, what does return even mean for a group that has caused all this chaos and mess for over a year? Let me know your thoughts by writing comments in the comment section. And as always, let's stay positive, respectful, and classy. Thank you guys. Peace and love. Bye-bye.